Hey folks, this is Chris Lucas at theprotestantview.com. I'm known on YouTube as Liquid Smooth because I used to DJ, so I use that channel, but I use that channel still. And I'm also known on YouTube as The Protestant View. I have a website called theprotestantview.com. Anyway, I just want to do a little video today about three things. About a few things. One, Serco. The other one's Judge Roberts being the Chief Justice of not only the Supreme Court but the NSA. And another one, is just about the general Catholic takeover of America. Now, I went on to Chrissy Summers' page the other day, YouTube page, and I recommend people checking out some of her videos. She seems to be the only one who's talking about Serco. Anyone who's not familiar with what Serco is, right here's a little description. She says, I tried telling everyone Serco is evil. Let's not forget what all Serco has their hands in, from the intelligence, CERN, picking up your trash, private prisons, schools that even manage time itself, and so much more to the list. And now they have access to our medical records. And she says, "Are you starting to get the big picture now?" And I think I'm in agreement with her that Serco might play a big part in as far as what the New World Order uses as a mechanism to sort of globalize everything into one entity. And she made this recent video. When did she do this? July 5th, saying Serco wins bid for Obamacare contract. And I'll put a link to this video in my YouTube information, so anyone who watches this video of mine can go into my down to the information box, and they'll find this link, and you can watch this video yourself. And she also gives a lot of good articles and places you can go to double check this. I think I read the Reuters article, which I thought was pretty good about it. So that's one thing I like to bring your attention to, is just because she seems to be the only one really reporting on Serco, and she does a lot of videos about it. So I thought I'd do a video, at least promoting her a little bit, because I think that's about one of the main sources for anything about Serco you want to get to know. And one thing about this is, notice someone's comment, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think the guy who runs Serco, or one of the CEOs, is a Jesuit. I can't quite remember off the top of my head which one it is. So I know someone mentioned it, and I've read it before myself. We'll see here. One person saying Serco might be connected to Tavistock Institute, or mind control experiments in installing dust-sized chips in men and women's eyes that they can tap into and watch what we see. I don't know about all that, but these are some of the things other people are saying about Serco. But I think, most of what she reports about is pretty legit. She seems to... Oh, here it is. Serco, a Jesuit creation, and the CEO, Chris Hyman, was appointed commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2010. Now, I don't know about the commander of the Order of the British Empire, but I do know the CEO, Chris Hyman's a Jesuit. I do remember reading that and finding that research somewhere. It's been a while. I just remember when she first started talking about this, I looked into it. I did see some stuff like that about Chris Hyman. But folks, I mean, don't take my word for it. I mean, go research it yourself, because like I said, it's been a while since I researched it, and I can't even tell you a source I saw it from. I just remember reading it. Another thing I'd like to bring your attention to is, did you know John Roberts is also Chief Justice of the NSA's surveillance state? And this is from the Washington Post, so it's not like it's from just any old website, right from the Washington Post. And Judge Roberts is also Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Well, I guess he's also the Chief Justice of the NSA's surveillance state. And I'll put a link to this. I don't want to read it because I think I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to kind of go through it and try to find the highlighting points. But I think people should, if they report it, you should go to their site, give them the traffic, even if you don't like the Washington Post. The 11 FISA judges chosen from throughout the federal bench for 7-year terms are all appointed by the Chief Justice. In fact, every FISA judge currently serving was appointed by Roberts, who will continue making such appointments until he retires or dies. FISA judges don't need confirmation by Congress or anyone else. So now you have a Roman Catholic, because Roberts is a Roman Catholic. We don't have any Protestants on the Supreme Court. We got 6 or 7 Roman Catholics, and I think even the 2 Jews might have been Jesuit schooled or Catholic schooled, or went to some kind of schooling like that in their life. I don't remember right off the top of my head, though, so don't, take that fact as 100%. But right here we got a Roman Catholic with this much power. I mean, we got one guy, and he's a Roman Catholic, and he's the one who gets to pick the judges that rule over the surveillance that NSA does. I find this quite disturbing. I talked to someone at the Tea Party, a pretty important person. Folks, this is one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, was I went to the Indianapolis Tea Party recently. And as some of my listeners know, I've been highly critical of the Tea Party in the past, especially the Indianapolis Tea Party being so Catholic-y at the top. And it was really weird to go to the Tea Party and not see hardly any Catholics involved in it. I think they had an agnostic speaker. They had a guy from Normal, which I guess is all about legalizing pot. They had like a couple of, even Occupy Wall Street people there. But I don't remember even hearing one Catholic speaker up on stage. Now, they did let this one candidate speak, and I wanted to talk to him, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him. But he looked Italian or Spanish, and I kind of, it's like, that's the only candidate that was getting promoted there. And I kind of wonder, did the one candidate they picked, was he Roman Catholic? Which would just raise more concerns. But I did think it was a better Tea Party, and it looks like someone listened to my criticisms, because, wow, I mean, no talk of Reagan. Like at the other Tea Parties, you heard Reagan's name mentioned a few times. This one, you never heard Reagan mentioned once. And you heard Ron Paul mentioned a couple times, but they just quoted him. It's not like they were like, support Ron Paul, because I guarantee you, folks, I would have flipped out. And they even gave people chances to speak at the end, and I felt kind of uncomfortable about speaking because, I mean, I had just got off work. I had little sleep the night before, and I found out about the Tea Party that morning, so I didn't even have time to really get ready. It started at 11. I found out about it about 10:45 a.m., and it started at 11 a.m., so I was like in a rush to go to it. But, I go to it, and one of the only people I voted for, because he actually talked to me before. That's the only reason why I spoke to him, because it's a guy I actually had a conversation with before, and so I voted for him on this past ballot, because I'm like, you know what, maybe some of these guys are dirtbags, maybe, but, I mean, at least this is one, or maybe they just don't know nothing, but at least this is one guy that actually lets me have a conversation with him, that actually I can, ask questions in front of people, and he answers them, and he doesn't duck them, okay? Now, I'm not going to say that makes this candidate a good candidate. I'm not saying, but I'm saying at least he doesn't do that, and I didn't really know who else to vote for, and so at least, so I voted for him, and I don't know really 100% what he's about, but like I said, at least, when you vote for a representative, I think it's a good thing that when you can actually talk to him. So, but I did, at the end, I sort of did think, and there was such a good feeling and a good vibe going on, where everyone had this feel good together vibe, and I kind of was hesitant about, wanting to talk about the Catholic control of government. I didn't know how to really phrase that in a way where I wasn't going to come off offensive. Like I said, I was tired. I wasn't really prepared to speak, and I think when you speak about this stuff, you have to talk about it in a certain way, or else you're gonna just get everyone mad at you, and everyone thinking even if they're Protestant, they're gonna like hate on you if you don't phrase it all perfectly correct and work it in just right. But towards the end, I was like, you know what? I'd like to say something. It might offend people, but do you mind if I get up there and talk even if it offends people? And you guys can even boo me off the stage, and I'll walk right off that second. Well, the guy who I told you about that I voted for, he was like the main speaker there. He comes down to me and talks to me. He's like, well, hey, what exactly were you wanting to say? And I said, well, Lincoln once said, this war would have never been possible without the sinister influence of the Jesuits. We owe it to popery that our land is reddened with the blood of America's noblest sons. I said, now when you look at the Supreme Court, you see 6, 7 Roman Catholics. I said, we don't have any Protestants in any high office of importance. And he says, well, if you get up here and talk, what are you looking to accomplish? And I said, I guess I just want people to kind of wake up about what's going on. I think it's wrong that, they give to people like Ron Paul, who in turn invest money to the same people that are messing us over. Because I said, I think it's kind of weird that Ron Paul, our nation's founded by Protestants, yet Ron Paul is having this homeschool curriculum that's supposed to teach you about America, and it's all ran by Roman Catholics, who had nothing to do with the founding of America, but then on top of that are a bunch of Lincoln haters. And I said the Catholic Church was responsible for killing Lincoln. The Vatican was 100% responsible. They had enough proof to where they could have convicted the Pope. That's what was said at the trial. Because John Surratt was hiding as a guard in the Vatican. He was the Pope's bodyguard for a while. So, and every co-conspirator behind the assassination of Abraham Lincoln was Catholic. In fact, John Wilkes Booth was found with a Catholic medallion over his heart. And so, I'm explaining all this to him, and he's like, well, and then I guess like they had broke down the speaking tables and the microphones and the speakers. So it was like, well, and then he's like, well, I guess it's a little late for you to speak. So I don't know if I really would have got a chance to speak, but I get on Facebook and friend him, and surprisingly, I post this article about Judge Roberts, and I said, this is one of the things I've been talking about, is that I said I predicted back in 2006 that Roberts was going to be doing exactly this. This is one of my fears that I brought up at the Tea Party. And he's like, I don't know if if this is really right, to go about bashing Catholics um, and my whole problem with that is it's like, we can bash Muslims. No one seems to have a problem with that. Even though Muslims had nothing to do with 9/11, no one has a problem about bashing them. It was Roman Catholics that had to do with the Taliban. They set up the Taliban. They set up Al-Qaeda. That was Jimmy Carter and Brzezinski. Okay? Now, they're the ones that go and set up Al-Qaeda and the Taliban, and so it's like their hands in it. And now, don't we hate NSA? And look whose hands in it, and look who's controlling it. The Roman Catholic Church has always been about prying into people's business. That confession's not about really confessing your sins. It's about spying on you. And then they just took it to another level with the phone taps, the wiretaps, listening in on you, setting up these computer databases. And look who's running it. It's Judge Roberts. And it's no Protestant. It's no person and it's not even like a few people on a council. It's one man. One Roman Catholic man that gets to pick the judges. And what kind of judges do you think he's going to pick? What kind of judges has he picked? Folks, I want to, let's see here. There's one thing I would like to leave you with. If I can even find it. Here we go. I just don't want you to ever forget about this. Commonwealth. It's a Catholic magazine. As you can see up here. Commonwealth magazine. It's a Catholic magazine. That's why they got all these Catholic advertisements, like America, the National Catholic Review. That's because this is a Catholic magazine. And look what they wrote. Look what they wrote. See, this is the website for their magazine, and look what they wrote. And when did they write this? December 19th, 2012. The Catholic takeover of the USA is almost complete. But I want you to go down and look at the comments by some of the readers. Let's see here. Nicholas Clifford writes, when I was a lad, and I'm talking about a lass, about the early 1940s. So this is all the way back in 1940s. It was this bad, folks. I used to be told that if a cop ever stopped you for speeding or a like offense, you should always address him as Mac, which of course stood for Make America Catholic, and ensured your instant release. And now he's saying maybe it's finally worked. So, folks, this is, I just wanted you folks to see this, to see that this is, our police force is heavily controlled by them. Like I said in the past, 95% of your police force in Chicago, New York, and St. Louis are Knights of Malta, from what I understand. And judging by that person's comment down there, and that's all the way back in 1940, you could tell a cop, you could refer to a cop as Mac, and you could get released. So, just a few things to think about, folks. Thank you for watching.